This is Rattenberg, the smallest city in Austria, on the banks of the river Inn. This place here is called Rattenberg. It's in the Tyrol in Austria, and this place is rather unusual because it's in the shadow of the Rat Mountain, and this means that the town in winter has apparently permanent darkness. Well, I find that hard to believe, but it's very dark here anyway. Let's put it that way. And the town itself was founded in the 14th century in the shadow of the Rat Mountain in order to protect itself from marauders. And Maximilian I had the original town citadel expanded so it became a powerful fortress. Another little curiosity about this place is in November 2005, the town said they were going to build 30 specialised rotating mirrors. These things are called heliostats, and what they do is they reflect sunlight in the parts of the town where there isn't any sunlight, which is probably most of the time. Anyway, it's going to cost something like €2 million or something like that. And the EU is going to fund half the bill, but they never got round to it. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you around a bit, because today it's Tuesday, the 18th of April, and the temperature here now is somewhere around freezing. And it was snowing, 18th of April, and considering only 4 days ago, I was in this lovely campsite called Monastery near Innsbruck. It was so hot, I was sitting in my van, doing my internet stuff, social media, and writing up my website, and I was sitting there just my underpants on, with the door wide open, of course, as well. Now it's really cold. Anyway, while I'm standing here, you've got the sign there, you can see the place you can go to. These are the places I've just come from. But get on the motorway, it's Innsbruck, Salzburg, or Munich. I'm now heading in the direction of Berchtesgaden. I was going to go to Aachensee, but in fact the tourist board invited me there, and unfortunately it's just so cold, I just didn't want to go. But anyway, on the subject of tourist boards, this place here, Schwaz. I wrote to Schwaz, the tourist board, asking them for saying I'll be coming there and what can they do to help me with the usual sort of thing, and sort of suggesting where to go and what have you, and they said they were not interested. The tourist board of Schwaz, well, in fact it's called the Silver Region, because here Schwaz is noted as a silver producing town. In fact, it was once the second largest town in the Habsburg territories. So the silver production was really important. You can see my film I did on Hal, for example. I talk about that the mint it was at Hal and the importance of silver from Schwaz for that. Anyway, Schwaz Tourist Board is not interested in receiving tourists. I have never heard this before, so be warned, don't go to Schwaz, because that is their attitude. At least they tell you up front they don't want you, because you can go to certain places and they treat you really nastily. But then Schwaz, they tell you up front, we don't want you here, so don't go there. I also wrote to others to ask why they actually did that. The Tyrol tourist board, they said they don't know why they actually did that, which is a pity really, because I've had such a good time here in the Tyrol so far. And I understand if somebody's busy and say, look, I'm sorry, we'd like to answer your mail, but we can't, anyway, I mean, I said, look, we don't want motorhomes here, whatever it is. That's what's happened. Anyway, now I wanted to show you the nice view of the mountains on the side of the river. You see, I've parked my van down there, behind that other van. I'm not terribly certain how the car parks work around here, but I think that one there is free. and the one down here is paid. Maybe it's not quite that, because I did see a sign saying it wasn't paid, but I can't see any signs for, I can't see any, what do you call them, the parking meters. Anyway, so we'll see how that goes, and have a quick walk around this dark town right now. Obviously it's April, so the sun does shine in April. Now the thing that I found quite attractive here, oh, I'll just point this out here, you've got the lorries on the train. It's a pretty good idea. You can put the lorries onto the trains in mountain areas and then just go through like that. You can do that in Switzerland as well. Now, some 15, well no more than that, maybe 20 years ago, this was proposed as a solution in Poland because the roads were terrible. There wasn't much in the way of motorways, and so the lorries could load up at Frankfurt on the border and then get off at, when they got to Brest on the Belarusian side. That would be much better. This thing never took off, apparently because there was too much corruption involved with the then SLD, the post-communist political party, was making money from smuggling. That was how this story went. Now I was actually writing for Poland's main daily newspaper, financial daily newspaper, and I mean, ideas going around in there amongst journalists were somewhat similar. But hey, looking at that's pretty attractive, though, isn't it? You can't complain at the view there. I went to the tourist information office, which is the other side of the road, decided that this is a place which is definitely worth more of a visit. So I've reparked my van so it doesn't get in anybody's way. I mean, there's plenty of space down here, but I don't want anybody to think that I'm a greedy parker. I saw some very selfish parking yesterday in Innsbruck, where I wanted to see the Ambras Palace, and there were these cars there that were taking us. So I couldn't park, although there was plenty of space. There was selfish parking. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to have a bit of a walk around. I've just confirmed that the parking at this side is paid, whereas where I am it's free. And there's no signs up as well saying you can't stop them out in your van. So there's another little thing. That's just between you and me, of course. And now I want to go across the river. I'm going to go to there's a main tourist place there, and I'm going to get some in-depth information, which I shall share with you. There's around 400 people who actually live in the village, and I mentioned the way of creating light for mirrors, and now this would have cost the local community about €1 million. So shared amongst 400 people gives you about 2,500 each. So maybe that was too much money for them. It seems strange to believe that it can be so dark in that way. Kisslinger, and you can see glass being blown there, I know that. When I was in Hull yesterday, I mentioned that in medieval times the Inn River was navigable as far as Hull, but no further, so merchants had to sell their wares in Hull, and then it'd be bought by somebody else who'd take it overland and they'd go back downstream. But in Hull you can see how much lack of depth there is in the river. Now here it doesn't appear to be shallow at all. Well, of course I can't see because it's green, and it's a very deep greenish colour, and it seems to be pretty fast moving tonight. So I'm walking the Cram Sack now. What I know of the region is that there is an outdoor museum that shows what farm buildings used to be like. The lakes, obviously this area, it's for outdoor tourism above all. This cold snap appears to be a large part of Europe. I know it's snowing in Poland right now, and it's very odd for this time of year here in Austria as well, but put me in a bit of a quandary as to what to do. And one of the things I thought of doing is I'll just get on the motorway and drive up to wherever I'm going. I was rather looking forward to seeing Birch's Gardens, but it's going to be snowing, and won't be much fun looking out to see the indoor museums, of course. And thing is, it is rather cold in the vehicle. One day it's forecast at night to drop to -7, and this is the second half of April. The worst sunburn I ever got in my life was in April, and that was in Poland, and I had to get the doctor. It's now 8:10 in the morning, following day, and as you can tell, it snowed. I was a bit concerned about the temperature. It's -1, so it's not too bad. Now, yesterday, I didn't film this because of the weather. I went to a Tyrolean farm museum. Absolutely outstanding from a historical point of view. It was brilliant. And okay, the weather wasn't very good and it was really cold. I spoke to the director, Thomas, I can't remember his surname now. Fascinating historical conversation. I mean, if he hadn't had the go, I'd still been there. I'd have been nattering on. It has to be, I would say, it's definitely one of the best museums I have ever seen. Obviously, history, and so that's the first important point. Definitely the best museum I've been to this year, so put it that way. As you can note out here, there's a bit of wind in the air, and my hands are stinging. I recall 3 months ago in Aulendorf, I went out, and there it was -12, -13 maybe, and I held the camera and I walked into the Cartago showroom, and then I said how much my hands were hurting because of the cold. And this is April. And last Wednesday I was walking with a t-shirt, and last Thursday and Friday it was so hot in my van. I was sitting there in front of the computer doing my stuff with just my underpants on. I can't recall it ever being this cold in my life in April. People talk about global warming. I believe in global warming. I'm not a disbeliever. This is an exception. I can recall it Easter being snowstorms, but I think that was the end of March. And it was in the mountains in southern Poland. I want to put my gloves on, it's so cold. So visitors greeted with these signs. There's a bit of information showing that there's 404 people living here, or there were on the 1st of January 2016, and first mention was in 1254 and 1393, part of Bavaria. And let's have a look here. We have these houses called nail makers' houses. Now, here in the countryside, nails were often made with wood. Special way of doing it. And what these, I don't know, nails that were made for here were from wood or from metal. But these are the oldest houses, possibly the oldest houses. They look to me as though they were extended. And let's remember, in bygone times, that many people, many more people will be living in the house. That was something which was very clearly in the visit to this museum yesterday that I mentioned. So here, 1148, first houses built on the rock, and making them the oldest in here. No later than 1767, the complex used for nail making, and nails were made there until 1912. This is the smallest city in Austria. It's only 11 hectares. It's a city because of rights that were afforded to it. Seventh of August 1908. Oh, Franz Ferdinand was there. I mentioned yesterday about this plan to put these mirrors in here that would make light in the town. And you have to, my question was, if people want to live here, then should it not be light as part of the attraction, or non-attraction as the case may be. Now this place is noted for glass blowing. The glassworks here. You can visit the glassworks, which is here, this one here, Crystal Glass Kisslinger. Yeah, glassworks again. Date there, 1620, I think it is, or 1670. Oven temperatures 1159, and out here the temperature, I would say -2 maybe, -3. I've just put my glove on. I've never filmed before with a glove on. So there's the 19th of April, now wearing a glove, and this is a day I do remember because it's the date of the uprising in the Warsaw Ghetto. So it's a date when I would attend the commemoration of that event. And it usually be walking around with a t-shirt and like a cardigan sort of thing that I often wear. Obviously, what Rattenberg is thinking of is aiming its business at tourists, I would have thought. There's a magnificent inn. Inns were very important, obviously, because of the trade that people walking around from one place to the other. Tyrol was very wealthy in the Middle Ages, but when the supplies of silver from Schwarz dried up, and it turned from an industrial type economy, I said, because it's the Middle Ages I'm referring to a poor agricultural economy. You can imagine a situation where people who are producing crops and animals on the mountainside. It's a very hard life, with diseases as well, and you don't know what the weather's going to be like, what's production going to be like. Makes things most difficult, and so that was there's also minerals in this area which were mined. Copper, for example. I think some gold was found as well, but all that was gone. There's a huge building for the chemist. Some of the houses are amazing here. We've got the castle up there as well. The town is named after the family that once owned it. So Rattenberg comes from a corruption of their name. Gives you an idea of the weather was like. There's no snow here in town. There's a brewery. And today's the day off. People putting the cobbles back into the road. Enormous church, such a small place. Castles up here. Glassware. So I get the impression the castle is used for performances, somewhere to sit in a sort of stage. Now coming up this way, the castle is quite strong, but it does have a weakness because the hills above it are higher. Can't really see them in this weather. fine. See the trains going past during the night. I've got to say that it does have a sort of charm despite the snow, or even with the snow. So we've got the motorway there from Innsbruck, no, Salzburg goes to Vienna eventually. You get a good idea of the layout of the town. The nail houses are down there. Can't just about make them out. And you can see the two parking places. The place where I am now to the free one. There's another one in front of that which is paid. Tourist information there as well. There will be more information in the description. There will also be some, I hope, some photographs from the summer, because I've asked for some to be given to me. So have a look there. Also see the information on the farmhouse museum, which is outstanding. See that position there, overseen from the mountain above. So there we have the monument to Andreas Hofer, 1809. I did a film with Andreas Hofer, which I filmed in Innsbruck. I talk about him. He was somebody from the Tyrol who fought against Napoleon, or more to the point is Napoleon's allies, the Bavarians, who occupied the Tyrol, and he led 3 uprisings, and he was eventually captured and executed. Although Napoleon, alleged to have said give him a fair trial and have him shot, later he told Metternich that he didn't want to shoot him at all. It wasn't his decision. He was former innkeeper, and this year will be the 250th anniversary of his birth, which took place in 1767, November 1767. There's Rattenberg, the end of Rattenberg. And here we have the walks you can do. Chapel in the forest, Upper Schlossberg. Although in this temperature, I'm not thinking I'm doing that. Südtiroler Straße. Südtirol is, of course, now part of Italy. It was taken by Italy at the end of the First World War. Well, the majority, I think the population, fair to say, is German, or was German speaking. Now I think it's a bit more even. Sparkassenplatz, I think that's the Sparkasse, the savings bank. That's the main street, if you like. Pretty elegant, really. Shows the wealth it once had. there's the Irish pub. There is something they call the Augustina Museum, which I believe shows religious art and the likes. It's just a minute, I went there, but I said that wasn't really my thing. And here we have a memorial to the flood of 1934. That was a very difficult year for Austria. It's something that's been called the Austrian Civil War. I think that's possibly an exaggeration to a civil war, but it was a time of unrest. And vehicles are not allowed in the town, but you do have to take this way around. So you go around there if you're in transit or something like that, or local transit I should say, because main transit you take the main road which goes through the tunnel. And this is what I filmed yesterday. It may be April, but it's probably almost as dark as it is in December. This is the cloister, the monastery. Started around 1385, completed by 1410. Here's something about the museum, which I shall now read to you. From 1985 to 1993, the whole building complex was carefully restored and now accommodates the Augustinian Museum, whose name reminds one of the previous designation of the building. It's a newly founded museum, opened on the 1st of May 1993. It's a regional museum, and in 1994 it won the Austrian Museum Prize. And the collection is divided into 5 categories: Gothic sculptures, gold and silver craftsmanship, paraments, Baroque art and 19th century art, as well as a section for objects related to processions and brotherhoods. Also won the Tyrolean Museum's Prize, 2005 for Culture and 2010 for its project. This was an important thoroughfare in bygone times, medieval times. Goods going up the in, and it is relatively flat here. I say relatively. There's a valley, and so that's why there's so many inns, places for people to stay, historical inns. As you can see, or have seen, the town has largely maintained its medieval character. The buildings are old and it's survived. There have been earthquakes around here. For example, the monastery I just showed you was damaged by earthquakes, but this has survived. Obviously this is a place better to come to, I think, in the summer. there's all sorts of other interesting things. I mentioned the farming museum, or farmhouse museum, but there's a couple of gorges which sound really interesting, which are quite narrow as well. The problem is, when the weather's like this, I don't really enjoy it all that much. Okay, history was great. I mean, I thought that didn't make any difference to me, what the weather was like. But I like to get out on my bike and see things, and this is really an exception. It's not the sort of thing that one expects in the second half of April. So now the plan was to go to Kitzbühel and then to go to Birch's Garden, but as I don't have a campsite in Kitzbühel organised, I'm going to go to Birch's Garden, and where I do have a campsite organised. That's about 120 kilometres from here, and I shall of course be reporting in from there.